One of the biggest surprises for Bluey Season 4 could be the birth of her new sister, but will she actually be a character the fans are going to love? Mom. Since we're talking about a new puppy, let's start with the character who could bring her into the world. Chili is desperate to have another puppy, and anyone who didn't notice that clearly wasn't paying attention during the episode Bedroom. In that story, Mrs. Healer starts crying because Bandit is about to give away the crib their puppies used to sleep in, and she even says she's sad because nobody else will ever sleep in that crib again, and that's the clue you need to understand. Chili wants another baby to use that bed, and that proves she dreams about becoming a mom again. What does that have to do with the future? Everything. Because in Bluey Season 4, the fourth baby of the Healer family could finally arrive, Bluey could get a new sister, and that would completely change the series. So if you're ready to hear more, stay with us. You know what's starting. It's another awesome Cinewave name. But what would this new puppy's name be? Well, there's one name that has been spreading all over the internet lately. We're talking about Berry, and honestly, it would be the perfect choice. Berry is a type of fruit, just like Blueberry, but in the case of this new puppy, she would be a red healer, just like Bingo and Chili. The new sister needs to have a name that starts with the letter B because the Healer family tradition basically demands it. Grandpa Bob had Bandit, and Bandit had Bluey and Bingo, so the new puppy needs to follow the rule too. Now, how do we know she'll be a red healer? It's actually pretty simple to explain. Bluey, the main character, is the only blue-colored puppy who can truly be the star of the show. That's basically her trademark. Not to mention that blue healers are very rare to be born, so let's all welcome Berry in the next season. Surgery. But you're probably wondering how exactly the healer couple could have another puppy if Bandit supposedly had surgery that stopped him from having kids. Don't know what we're talking about? Then let's take a few steps back. In the episode Perfect, Bandit is talking to Winnie's dad. Their conversation hides a secret that only adults really noticed. The truth is that they were actually talking about a surgery that would stop Bandit from having children. But this is the detail you're not paying attention to. Bandit never had the surgery. He wouldn't be foolish enough to do that because he knows Chili really wants another baby, just like we already proved. And even if Mr. Healer did go through with it, the couple could still adopt. Even so, that's not what we think will happen, because the biggest theory right now is that Chili will begin the next season already pregnant. What do you think about that? Red healer. There's another reason why we believe Berry will be a red healer, just like her mom and her sister Bingo. There's a very special episode that reveals this perfectly. If you pay close attention to the season 2 episode Sleepy Time, you'll notice that Bingo comes out of Earth, which is the third planet closest to the sun, while Bluey comes out of Venus, which is the second closest. The sun represents Chili, and that explains exactly what we mean. The order of the planets matches the birth order of the healer kids. The first planet, Mercury, would represent the baby who was never born, which is why the planet isn't cracked in the dream, because nobody ever came out of it. Then comes Bluey as the second child, Bingo as the third, and Mars takes the fourth position. But what does Mars have to do with anything? Here's a quick planet lesson. Mars is known as the red planet, and that color is clearly a reference to red healers, meaning it's another clue that Berry would be more like Chili than Bandit. Would you rather be a blue puppy or a red puppy? Comment the hashtag Bluey so we can get to know you. Floppy. Still talking about the episode Sleepy Time, let's remember another detail that could have everything to do with Bluey and Bingo's new sister, the stuffed bunny, Floppy. The truth is that Berry could become Floppy's new owner, and there's a very important reason behind that. Floppy is a dream companion, meaning she follows and protects children during the night. Every baby needs that kind of protection, and Bingo will have to decide whether she keeps her beloved Floppy or helps her new sister because, remember, once Berry is born, Bingo officially becomes a big sister alongside Bluey. Berry could have a nightmare, and because of that, Floppy would help the new puppy get through it. Could Floppy become the favorite toy of the newest healer puppy? Jealousy. But what if Bingo gets jealous? That's something that could definitely happen, and we need to talk about it a little. As you already know very well, Bluey and Bingo learn through their games and school lessons. By becoming Berry's older sister, Bingo will also need to understand responsibility a little more, like protecting and helping with everything, just like Bluey already does with her younger sister. That means Bingo will have to work even harder to help her sister have a better life. But here's how things could go wrong. Younger children naturally need more attention, that's obvious, but it also means Bingo herself could lose some of the attention she gets from her parents, because all the attention would be focused on Berry. Could Bingo feel jealous? At first, probably yes, but not for very long. Bingo is smart, she'll understand. Peppa Pig. Alright, now let's talk about something you maybe didn't notice. Berry's birth could actually be Bluey's answer to Peppa Pig. Yes, this has everything to do with Peppa's show, and we'll explain why. The truth is that Bluey and Peppa Pig are the two biggest kids' cartoons today. Both Both universes compete to be the #1 greatest cartoon of all time. Since Peppa Pig introduced Evie Pig, fans spent a long time talking about it. That's exactly why Bluey's creators may react by creating a new character too, because the dog universe can't fall behind in the competition, right? Cousin. Now we're going to talk about something that is very beautiful, but at the same time incredibly sad. Maybe Bluey and Bingo's new sister could actually be the baby growing inside Aunt Brandy's belly, and we're going to explain how this could be true. You already know that Chili's sister has always dreamed of becoming a mother, but she never managed to make that dream come true. Chili herself once said that some things just aren't meant to happen the way we want them to. When she said that, everyone assumed Chili's sister simply couldn't have children, but what if it's something else? In the episode Dragon, we discover that Chili's mother lost her life after an illness that may have been some kind of cancer. What if her oldest daughter has the same disease? Here's how that could make sense. She always wanted to become a mother, but for many years she decided not to have children because she knew she could lose her life to an illness that sadly has no cure. Because of that, she may have chosen not to get pregnant so she wouldn't leave a baby alone in the world. But everything changed when she met Bluey and Bingo. She decided to have a daughter, but she could still lose her life and never get to watch her child grow up. And this is where Chili and Bandit come in. When their niece no longer has a mother, in this case Brandy, the healer couple would step in to raise the puppy. Barry would grow up as Bluey and Bingo's sister, but in reality they would actually be cousins. What do you think about that?
And if you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. Click and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos.
Growing up. If you still don't believe the other theories, then maybe another detail will help you understand why the Healer family could have a new daughter. Bluey isn't a show about fully grown dogs. It's a show about children. Here's how this works. Unlike most cartoons, time actually passes in Bluey. Bluey and Bingo started the series at 6 and 4 years old, but now they're 7 and 5. The final scene of season 3 was exactly about that. Bluey getting older, but fans still want to watch the adventures of a puppy who is still a child. In other words, the creators of the show have a problem to solve. If time keeps moving forward, the main character will eventually grow up, but at the same time, fans still want a child protagonist. So what happens next? The answer is simple: a new main character, a new sister. Do you agree with that? Reality. There's another reason too. Dogs have a lot of puppies in real life. Honestly, maybe even too many. The only family in the show that really follows this idea is Coco's pink poodle family, where Coco's mom had 9 puppies. It makes sense to think that in Bluey, the dogs would also follow some real dog behaviors like chewing bones, chasing balls, and having lots of puppies. That's why, if Chili has another baby, it would make perfect sense. Jobs. Have you realized that Barry's birth could actually become a huge problem for the Healer family? If you remember the ending of season 3, when Bandit and Chili decide to stay living in Brisbane, it was a beautiful moment, but at the same time, it created a problem. The truth is that in order to move away, the Healers had to give up their jobs. In Bandit's case, he had accepted a job offer in another city. Since he's no longer moving there, he loses that opportunity. And in Chili's case, she worked at the city airport, but she was planning to move too, meaning Mrs. Healer also left her job behind. By deciding not to move, they may now have to search for new jobs because their old positions could already be taken by someone else. The birth of a new puppy could mean they'll suddenly have lots of bills to pay, but not enough money. In other words, there's still a lot they need to figure out before Barry is born. Had you thought about that detail? Baby race. But one thing you can definitely be sure about is that the birth of this new character would be more than welcome. Because as you already saw in the episode Baby Race, the characters go through many new stages like crawling, walking, and climbing. It would be amazing to watch all of that happen with Barry. Don't you agree? And if you want to learn even more about Bluey and the best cartoons, stay with us.
It's almost over, but until then, you can stay with us. There are 2 super fun videos waiting for you. Thanks, and see you next time.